I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars Mystery Shopping Report. Holman Honda. That's an old family, by the way. That's automotive family. They've been around for a long, long time. And they've expanded considerably, I know, since they used to be just in South Florida. Speaking in the first person, as if I were Agent Lightning, I arrived mid-afternoon, was greeted by a salesman who noticed me looking at a Civic parked on the showroom floor. And as I was looking inside, he asked me if I like stick-shift vehicles. I said, oh, no. The average person wouldn't even know what stick shift is today, I think. I said, oh, no, thank you. Is this a stick shift? He said, yes. And then asked if I was interested in the Civics. I said, yes. I had one and regret ever getting rid of it. We both laughed. He then suggested we take a walk to their lot so he could show me what they have. I followed him as we were walking to the door. I said, I didn't get your name. And he apologized and said, he's Kevin. And he had to be every bit of 7 feet tall. He had about 5 Civics on the lot, and I chose this one. Got a picture of the Benoni label on my mystery shopping report. That's a good sign. I noticed all the cars on the lot had the old-fashioned club locks on them and mentioned this to him. He replied that it's getting really bad down here, so not only do our cars have low jack, we put the club locks on them as well. It won't stop them, meaning the thieves, but it will slow them down. Oh, cute, just like these, I said. I really like the car and like to see a price on it. He said, perfect. Now, of course, I have to digress and say, I somehow don't think that the club locks or the low jack are all on the cars so that they won't steal the cars off their lot. I think they're on the cars so that the dealer can make extra profit by marking up the low jack and the club locks, but hey, what can I say? I'm being negative. How soon are you planning on buying? I said, likely this week. I keep hearing Black Friday specials being advertised on the radio. Kevin said all dealerships always have specials with pricing. He then asked me for my information and put me in their system and then excused himself, saying he'll be right back with a price. It's the old back and forth. A few minutes later, Juan, sales manager, came back with him and had the price sheet in his hand. He asked, what exactly am I trying to do today?
I'm here picking up some groceries.
Yeah, I was asking for directions to the grocery store.
And I was going to sit down and watch a movie in your lounge.
I said, well, if the price is right, I'll buy a car. He started saying something about they have a protection package. We all have heard of those protection packages.
We should call them protection rackets.
Right. And just like if you go to McDonald's, they offer you fries. This is their upscale. I like that. That's funny. I said, well, I'm down this way, and being upfront with you, I was planning on stopping at a few places on the way back up north. Dealerships, he says, put a little air in their prices, but I'm willing to sell you this car for a great deal today. I told him I'm being honest with him, and you and I don't want to do a lot of back and forth, so if you could just give me your best price, I'd appreciate it. He said, perfect. He appreciates me being honest with him, and he'll be right back with the price. A few minutes later, he returned with this sheet, which I have shown here, which is the typical worksheet, meaning it's not a legal document, and they can basically say or do anything on the sheet. Prices, discounts, add-ons, none of it has any legality. You waive the price or the right to have a contract. It's not a contract. So they can flim-flam you a little bit, and then when you sign the real contract, that's where you're going to watch out. One asked me what I thought. I replied, I expected to be much closer to MSRP out the door, and he said, well, this is just my first try with you, being brutally honest, and we could go back and forth and see what's going to work. I said, I told you I was being upfront with you from the beginning. I wasn't looking to do a lot of back and forth, and then I was going to shop other dealerships. He replied, give me a number here, cross out this $3,700 and tell me what you want to pay. And I said, I'm not doing that. I said, just give me a good number and we'll go from there. He said, okay, I'll be right back with a better deal. A few minutes later, he came back with the sheet. Now, this little back and forth that we do on virtually every mystery shopping report is exactly why the phenomenon that's taking place with online buying, Amazon, and some other companies, where you actually will be given out-the-door price without having to play games. That's the reason this was the beginning of the end of car dealerships as we know them today. But they're still here, and they're going to be around for a while, so pay close attention. I got another worksheet here, a lot of fine print. And while he was gone, Calvin said he expected him to come back with a much more aggressive price, knowing that I said I was going to shop around. But when he returned, was just a little bit less of a price. I looked at Juan and he said, "Okay, thank you, not interested." Juan replied, "What do you mean?" I said, "Even Calvin thought you were going to come back with an aggressive price." And he said, "Well, I still have some room to work, but I'll be back in just a few minutes." I said, "I don't really feel like wasting my time. I was up front with you from the beginning and frustrated with his games. He just gave me 2 minutes, so I said, 'You're on the clock,' to which he said with a pompous attitude, replied, 'Start your timer then.' At this point, I was very mad, and I looked at Calvin and said, 'I'm sorry for wasting your time, but I'm leaving. I don't need this a fanny attitude.' And I walked out the door when I got to my car and said he would be happy to have another manager work with us if I would just give him a chance. I said, 'No, I'm not interested right now. I'm too mad. I'm leaving.' And he said he understood and apologized for Juan's behavior. On the clock, he says, 'Start a timer running,' but audacity of this short, younger, arrogant salesman blew my mind. So Agent Lightning really got irritated. We want to vote on the show.
I'm going to, I would like to give him a D.
A what?
A D.
A D.
Yeah.
Myself, D minus.
For me, I'm going to give him an F.
I'm not going with Stu. I'm going with a D. I'd like to give him an F just to punish him, but I'll give him a D. It's not only a bad report, it's a stupid report because when you lose your temper with a customer, you might as well fold up your tent and go home. You can't afford to get angry. So the salesperson and the manager, too, probably got irritated at the customer because she reacted normally to their abuse and felt like Agent Lightning wasn't being polite. Hi, this is Earl Stewart. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to be notified of new videos that we post to our YouTube channel, simply click on the subscribe button and the bell icon in the lower right-hand side of the screen.